Donovan, you're back. You couldn't get enough of Honigman. You're back for more coffee and counsel. So I'm glad you came back. I'm glad we didn't scare you away. And those of you who are listening couldn't get enough of Donovan. So that's great. Uh, you know, it was good sitting down with you and getting to know more about your background, despite your 757 root. But it's real nice to hang out with you, Donovan. And where we kind of left off last time, we were talking about how you're a mentor. You're giving people advice, and I kind of want to start there because one of the things I'm seeing more of is founders who want to stay at their day job while they build their company, and at the same time, I see seed and pre-seed investors saying you better leave your company if you want this check. And I'm talking pre-seed investors. We're talking 25K, 50K checks, and they're saying you need to leave your company to get this money. So I guess I want to, you moved here for Ford. You work full time at Ford. I don't know if God gave you an extra 10 hours a day, but you make it happen. We've had calls at night. We've had calls on the weekend. We're doing things. You're doing things. You're joining all these programs. But how do you do it? And what advice do you have to these founders? And maybe even speak to these investors who have these types of constraints on their funds.
Yeah, so prioritization, like hyper prioritization. Like I don't say that as a cliche. Like you need to know where every single minute of every single day is going towards, and you also need to be upfront and honest with yourself. If you can't work at night, that means you need to wake up earlier to put in a couple hours before you go to work. If you can't do that in the morning, then that means you got to have late nights. You got to decide what works best for your schedule, what works best for your personality, and then, like I said, take an account of I'm doing this for this amount of hours. I'm doing this for this amount of hours. I'm setting this side of time for email. I'm setting this side of time, this time aside for pitching, whatever, and just prioritize based that. And set your calendar on automatic. Get as many automations as you can. Like I'm quick to send out my Calendly link. It's actually so frustrating that so many investors still don't use Calendly. Similar tool, like I'm still getting emails. Hey, send me over a list of these arbitrary dates of when you may be available a week ahead of So, but you got to work with you. And then my advice, it goes hand in hand to what I would say to an investor versus my advice for a founder is don't quit your day job, right? Like write me a check and show me it's real. If as a pre-seed or a seed investor, you're that interested in what I'm building and you want me to go full time, make it possible. Write me the check that I need to be able to go full time on this and still provide for my family, have a certain level of financial security, whatever your trigger is. For me, I'm a husband and a soon-to-be father. My family is everything.
Congratulations, man.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, my family is everything to me. So no investor is going to convince me to quit my job that pays my bills and make sure that I can give 100% of myself to Guild because I'm not concerned about financial instability.
Right. Yeah, and I've seen investors on both sides of this question, and some see founders with a safety net, and the safety net could be their job, right? The safety net could be their job as a good thing because you're more likely to take a risk. You're more likely to put a little bit extra in your company or a little bit extra time because you know the lights are going to stay on. You might not play it conservatively. You're going to go hard, whatever angle that means for your company. And the same thing with having a kid. It's easy to say, oh, he's going to be too busy now, or he's doing too much stuff now, blah, blah, blah. But I think the other side of that is how much more motivation does Donovan have now because of that child, right? So I am all for this. And frankly, there's been so many successful entrepreneurs who have done this. And, the first one that comes to mind for me is Phil Knight with Nike. So I don't know if a lot of people know this, but he's a CPA. He was an accountant, and he found Nike, but doesn't leave his accounting firm. He keeps working there for a couple of years. Read Shoe Dog, incredible book about him, and there's some other more tech startup guys I think that did a similar thing. Maybe not as long as Phil Knight, but similar concept. So I'm all for it, and you make it happen, and you also work with ecosystems that kind of support that. So I think Tech Town, Founders Gym, No Cap, they're kind of, tell us about those programs again. They're at night, right? Like they're available to founders with jobs. Is that right?
Absolutely. So all of those programs, even the battery that I'm a part of now, are evening opportunities. So they are structured, one, remotely and with full-time working founders in mind. And quite frankly, as an investor, your risk is mitigated by having a founder who has a full-time job, because now I know that you have a little more, you don't just have sweat equity in the equation, right? You're bootstrapping this thing, you're funding this thing from your own pockets, and you're more willing to take risk because you don't have to think, well, if I make this decision, how do I keep the lights on next month? Or how do I pay payroll, right? It removes those decisions away where, like I said, I'm committed 100%. And I can say, you know what, yeah, we're going to launch in that market, or we're going to invest in that marketing channel. Why? Because I can pull from my personal bank account and pay for it.
Right. Exactly. In the meantime, you don't have to eat out of the money the investor puts into the company too. And you can use that money to build a team. So you can either use your equity or you can use your cash that comes in from your investors to build your team. You've built your team. You're slowly but surely building your team. You landed a huge hire. You want to tell us about that? You got a technical co-founder now. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so Tom Wash is my technical co-founder. We linked up in August of 2020 through a mutual connection here in the Detroit ecosystem. So shout out to the Detroit ecosystem for making that happen. And yeah, he's a powerhouse. He already been a CTO of a venture-backed company. He's self-taught. He's already created other apps in the space that we're operating in.
That's great.
So it was huge bringing him in and getting him signed up to join, Guild in its vision.
That is great. That's great. Yeah, great to have Tom on the team. And so with that in mind, I guess, where are you at with the product? Where are you at with your MVP? When are you launching? Maybe when is the wrong word. It's always now. But tell us where you're at.
So we're in the last phases of development. So we have a couple things on the back end since we're working with databases and creating a model off of that. We've had to really kind of hone in on a few elements and then also build the front end that enables all of that back end. So to make it intuitively designed for people when they operate it, they're like, what the heck is this? It's not so complex that in and of itself becomes friction to them using the app. So we're going to be launching a private beta in the next week or two with a full launch scheduled for April.
That's great. That is great. I almost had to sneeze there for a second, which would have been great to have on the podcast. That's excellent. So, Donovan, I'm a customer. I'm going to be a customer. So how are you making sure I'm in line? How are you making sure people like me get to try things out first? Do you have beta testers? Are you looking for beta testers? What are we doing here?
So we're constantly adding people to our wait list. So you can go and sign up for the wait list at tryguild.com. As terms of private beta users, these are going to be reserved for people I actually know personally, because I need constructive feedback. I don't, have time for my sync fell off. Like, what the heck are you guys doing over there? So these are going to be controlled experiments for the private beta. But like I said, you can sign up for the waitlist for our launch come April by going to tryguild.com. That's tryguilde.com.
Tryguild.com. You guys heard it first. I'm going to go check it out. I'm actually already signed up. Let's be real. I'm signed up. But you should too. Sign up. trigo.com, and check them out. Let's support Donovan Wright and their mission to make life easier for homeowners and contractors. Let's do it. And also, for more information on our law firm, Honigman.com, check us out. If you're a founder, we can help you. We'd love to. If you're a VC, we can help you too, and we'd love to. So we love to work with you. Join us next time for more coffee and counsel. And stay clean out there. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. And we'll see you soon. Hopefully in person when we can. Thanks, Donovan. Great connecting with you.
Absolutely. Thanks. Appreciate being on the show.